Now that I have my pieces all cut out and taken off of my mat, I'm going to use some Color Box Fluid Chalk ink to ink around the edges, just because sometimes it leaves this little white line. If you can see it, it doesn't cut exactly, and I hate when that shows, so I like to use a little bit of ink just to kind of hide that. Plus it adds some nice dimension to the cuts. Just makes them stand out a little more. Almost done. There. So next I'm going to use my Peachy Keen stamps, stamp my little faces onto my milk and my cookie. The set that I'm using is called Wide Eyed Kids Face Assortment Stamps. And I love these, they're so cute. And the one that I'm going to use, I'll just check and see how this fits. I'm going to use this one for my milk. Use some StazOn ink. And I always just check I always do my first stamp just on a scrap piece of paper somewhere, just so I can make sure that my ink pad isn't starting to dry out or anything like that, and then when I stamp it on my cut's ruined if it doesn't stamp right. So I'm going to line this up right in the middle. And these stamps are awesome. You don't really have to press down, you just put it on firmly and then lift it off and it stamps perfectly. And now I'm going to switch and put a little more girly face on my cookie. Little eyelashes on it. Get it all inked up. Here we go. See, there's my little faces. Now I'm just going to add some bit of doodling on here. See, you can kind of see on this face I kind of pressed too hard and it smudged a little tiny bit. On this eye you can see it, but it still looks okay. So I'm just going to color in the whites of her eyes. That. And I'm going to add a little tiny bit of excuse me, red for her tongue. There's just a little tiny spot there for her tongue. I'm going to color the rest of her mouth in with just my Zig black pen. It's really fine tip, so it's easy to do little tiny details. There. Now I'm going to use my little Copic marker. I don't have hardly any Copics. I have this one and a Blender pen, just because I don't really know how to use it. I just like the look of it for their little cheeks. I'm just going to put a little dot on their cheeks. And same with my little cookie. And I'm just going to use my white pen again to add just a little bit of details on here so they're not so flat looking. The reason why I turned these SVGs into more like graphics is because I wanted to have them really small, and when you get tiny little, when you make your SVGs really small, the pieces get so tiny and it's hard to put them together, so I just kind of opt for the print and cut method instead. So now that's all finished. Give you a close-up look at that. Isn't it cute? Now I'm going to take my card base And this is just a letter size sheet cut in half. So it is 4 1/4, or sorry, it's 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, and then I fold it in half again to make it 4 1/4. Four and a quarter by 5 1/2. And then I have a piece of just textured Coordinations cardstock from Joann, and it's cut 1/4 of an inch smaller all the way around, so it is 4 inches by 5 1/4. I'm just going to use my ATG gun to adhere that down. Right in the center there. Actually, I just realized I didn't want to do that. I'm going to try to peel it back a little bit. Got ahead of myself and I forgot that. Okay, so here it is. And I'm pretty sure this came from, it either came from the, I had bought 2 sample packs a long time ago. One was from Pink by Design, which sells Divine Twine, and the other one I got from the Twinery. I'm not sure which one it is, so it's either Divine Twine or the Twinery. So I'm going to cut my piece of twine so that it's long enough to go all the way across. I'm going to put it right about there. I'm just going to wrap it around here. My back side of my white sheet is still sticky from my ATG gun. I'm going to pull it snug and kind of adjust it so it's straight across here. Come down a little bit. Okay, then I'm going to put this back down again. Hopefully I didn't wrinkle it too bad when I was peeling it back up. There, it's not too bad. Next I'm going to lay this out and stamp my sentiment on it. Okay, so this is going to go right about there. This is going to be right about there. I actually think I want to move it up a little bit, so I'm just going to squeeze my twine up a little bit so that's right there. And the sentiment I'm using is from the UR set by Pink by Design. It has a whole bunch of cute sentiments on it. And I want to stamp it right underneath there, so I'm going to get out my, I'm just going to use Rich Cocoa Memento ink. I'm going to get it all inked up. Line this up again. So I'm going to want it to be stamped right about there. So I'm just going to make sure my ink's wet. And then I'm just going to shift this out of the way just in case there's more ink on my block. I don't want to get it on my cuts. I'm just going to press down firmly. Lift it up, and there's my sentiment. Now I can stick my little banner on top of that. So now I need some little foam stickers. Oh man, I know exactly what I'm doing tonight. Cleaning my scrap table. There. So now I'm just going to put them on either, it'll be like this. So I'm just going to put my foam stickers on either side of where the twine's going to be. Put one more right there. Get this lined up right in the middle. Stick it down. Then I'm going to put some more foam stickers on top of this so it's popped up another layer as well. Line it up right in the middle. There. So my next step is to just add a little bit of stitching around the outside, which I do on a lot of my cards. I think it just adds like a little bit of extra nice detail so it's not so boring and flat looking. I've also had some questions from people about the kind of paper that I print onto. And most of the time I use just, I think it's 65 pound, let me look here. Yeah, it's just plain 65 pound white cardstock that I picked up at an office supply store. And that's what I printed this and this on. And it prints fine. I don't know, I like it. I've had some people ask about acid-free paper and that kind of thing, and I don't know of any, but I haven't looked around too much. So I usually just print on that plain 65 pound cardstock, or I use like this stuff I print, the textured stuff I print on sometimes. It has a really nice effect. It's from Joann's. I got it when I was in the States. Sometimes I print on Recollections from Michaels as well. It all just depends what kind of look you're going for. For 12 by 12 layouts, I usually print on the Coordination from Joann's just because it's thinner and it runs through the printer a little bit better. I find my American Craft, which is 65 pounds, gets kind of caught up sometimes. It's actually working better now than it was at first, but it does get kind of caught up sometimes, and I think it might be a little bit too thick. So you can print digital paper and images even if you have a regular printer. I have a wide format one, but for a long time I just used a regular printer, and you can still do tons of stuff with it. And I'm just going to put the inside of my card in like that. And that's all done. And I hope you like my card today, and hopefully maybe you learned something. If you have any questions, make sure to leave a comment on my blog. Thanks for watching.